If we had turned that down, maybe between Lagos and Ibadan now we have to walk.
I was it's so certain, and that the journalist didn't understand what Mr. President just said, okay? And that was why they gave him that particular look you just saw there on the video. So anyway, we're going to be talking about Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. He's the president of Nigeria, and he's actually from the northern part of the country. So today I'm going to be using President Buhari as an example to explain the northern accent, okay, the northern Nigerian accent. Yeah, so if you listen carefully, you're going to realize that in the northern accents, that's the northern part of Nigeria, they have challenges with some sounds, okay? All right, so the first thing I want to talk about the Nigerian northern accent, okay, using President Muhammadu Buhari, is that they like to replace the sound letter K with the sound CH. Sh. Okay, and I have one example there. So I wanted to listen to him. He was trying to say the word campaign, and he said champagne. Okay, just listen to him.
Well, I think you can recall that when I was campaigning, right, 2015.
Yeah, so welcome back. Number two thing I want you to know about the Nigerian northern accent is that they like to replace the sound that's a letter P in words with sound that's letter F. Now, Mr. President said this in many words, okay? Like in the word improving, okay? He said improve. He said improving.
Improving security, improving the economy, and trying to fight corruption.
Improvement, okay? But he said improvement. He replaced the letter P with a letter V.
There are improvements in the security. But I ask you to please try and check within the last 6 weeks, and so there is an improvement in the Northwest and North Central.
Another example is point one. So when he wanted to say point one, he said foint to the letter F. Point one
was 2.1 million barrels a day.
Another example was susceptible. Okay, but Mr. President replaced the P there with an F. Susceptible.
Nigeria, we are very susceptible to such issues.
Another example is the word population. He said population, okay, replacing the second P with a letter F.
Because of our population and the size of the country.
Another example is the word personally. Mr. President said personally, okay? He replaced the P there with a letter F.
One of the issues I discussed with them personally is to go and...
Another example is the word department, okay? If you listen carefully, he said department, replacing the P there with the letter F.
Even veterinary departments.
Another example is the word people. If you listen to Mr. President, he said people. Okay, we're going to listen to him right away.
So that the herders don't stray into people's farms and into the towns and so on. For generations, people have been living like that. Because I want people to be given a choice.
Another example, he said there was the word problem. He said problem.
I have a problem with that conference. My problem is this, if you could recall.
There is a problem of culture. And problem of culture is a cultural problem. There were two governors that came to see me about problem. If we didn't come together, the four or five parties wouldn't have defeated the PDP. I'm afraid unemployment, especially in the case of...
So welcome back. And Mr. President actually said the sound in this particular word, promises. Okay, he didn't say promises. Listen to him.
Promises we made.
Yeah, so welcome back. Now, another thing I want you to know about the northern Nigerian accent using President Muhammadu Buhari is that they like to replace the letter F in words with sound that letter P. Okay, if you listen to Mr. President carefully, you're going to realize he said prom instead of from. So he replaced the F there with a letter P, prom. Okay, prom. Let's listen to him.
If you ask anybody from Borno State, from Yobe State, from Adamawa State,
so whoever joins us, whether from the ruling party.
One other major difference when we're talking about the Northern Nigerian accent is that in the Northern Nigerian accent, they would like to replace the sound J, okay, with letters SH, sh. Take, for example, Mr. President said the word average. Instead of average, he said average, okay? He also said the word language, replacing the J, language, J, with an SH sound, sh, language. Let's listen to him.
Average production as the average cost of $100 per barrel. So I think the only language
Another difference is he likes to replace the TH, the voiceless consonant sound, with a letter S, okay? More example, he said the word 37, okay? He could have said 37, but he said 37.
again collapsed to about $37 per barrel.
He also said northwest, okay, instead of northwest. He also said northeast, and north central, okay?
In the northwest, it's the same people, the same culture, securing the country in the northeast, in the northwest and north central.
Okay, welcome back. So I'm not going to say, okay, I'm not just going to crucify him there. Mr. President also made use of the right pronunciation in these words. He said 3 using the right standard pronunciation. He also said 30th, thanks and thoroughly.
In the 3,
As from 30th of May this year.
we discussed it thoroughly. We have discussed thoroughly, and we thank God for that.
Yes, one thing about the northern accent, northern Nigerian accent, I want you to know about is that the northern Nigerians like to replace when they want to say what, they say wit. Okay, so if you listen to Mr. President, he said wit. Take for example, you can hear many people say with your name. Let me use the northern accent. With your name. Okay, it ought to be what's your name, but you're gonna hear with. The what replaced with with. Let's listen to what he has to say about this.
But look at what we did.
Yes, so we're actually summarizing right now. One other thing I want you to know about the Northern Nigerian accent from what Mr. President had to say was that, so he likes to replace the letter V with the letter B sound, okay? For example, he said services, not services. So you can see that the V there is replaced with a letter B, okay?
With the law enforcement agencies, the service chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, with the service chiefs and other law enforcement agencies.
Another example there is he said villages, and not villages.
Stealing each other's animals, killing each other, burning villages.
He also said seven, not seven.
The government said it voted 7 billion naira.
And lastly, he said observers, not observers.
I think many observers, and especially Nigerians.
So he replaced the letter B. So he replaced the letter V there with a letter B, okay? That's one major difference you have to recognize in the Northern Nigerian accent. Next thing I realized in Mr. President's accent is that he replaced the letter B with a letter V. So that's vice versa, okay? Replacing the letter B with a letter V. For example, in the word believe, he said believe, okay?
And I believe if you go to those constituencies.
Another example in the word fabulous, he said fabulous, replacing the B there with a V.
And by some fabulous coincidence.
And lastly for today, one thing about Mr. President's accent is Mr. President has a challenge with the voice consonant the, okay? He said those of you, those, okay? Not those. And he said the and not the.
Those who know Nigerian politics from independence now, those people who have been identified and those that are interested in our transportation to the refinery, the cost of refining, the cost of transportation from the refinery to the filling stations.
Okay, so thank you very much for watching Colin's Accent once again. I believe you got value from this video. If you have any comments, please don't forget to drop your comment in the comment section below and like my content. I'm going to say to you right now, goodbye. See you next time. Peace.